The NFL playoffs are here, so let's revisit how we felt about some of these teams heading into the year. So welcome to Hindsight. It is a new segment where we look back at some of our old clips to see how certain sound bites and hot takes have aged with hindsight. So joining me and Andy for this week's segment is our very own Mike Jones. It's a pleasure having you on, Mike.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, so our first hindsight that we are going to throw at you guys is this one. It comes from my interview with Aaron Rodgers prior to week 1. I asked him how the Packers with him and Brett Favre have only over the last 30 years managed to come up with 2 Super Bowl rings. So take a look.
I always start with myself and my performance. And there are times in each of those games where one play here or there and, we actually win the game. I remember those games. Those all hurt. But there are times in each of those games, what could have been the first quarter or the first drive, or it could have been the last drive of the fourth quarter, where we had chances to win. And that's the beauty in our game, and that's the frustration at times.
So with hindsight of yet another MVP season from Aaron Rodgers, how has this aged with his role in playoff utility? And using a little foresight here, is this the best chance he's ever going to get at winning that second ring? And how much pressure is on this team to win this one right here, right now? Mike, we'll have you go first.
I think that there is a lot of pressure because, and part of it is created by Aaron Rodgers from the whole offseason and the last dance, messages he was sending and everything. And is this the end here in Green Bay? Is it not? So right now, he's got a roster that's been to the conference championship the last 2 years. They're trying to make it 3 years in a row. I think they have a really good shot, but he knows he's got to get it done. So, yeah, this might be his best shot that he's had in quite a while.
Andy, do you think that he should carry the choke artist title until he wins another one?
I think choke artist is a little too stiff here, but he's lost multiple playoff games at Lambeau Field. Everyone waxes poetic about, they got to go to Lambeau. Well, other teams have had success there, right? Like Tom Brady, who's 900 years old. He had success there last winter. And so Aaron Rodgers really needs to win and get to the Super Bowl because, for the past 10 years, he's really been a great regular season quarterback. When it comes to the playoffs, he's come up short, and playoffs is where everything matters.
Yeah. Mike, back in the spring when Rodgers was MIA at Packers minicamp, you said this about his relationship with the team.
He wants out. He doesn't trust them. He doesn't feel respected, doesn't feel appreciated. And so they can say that they're committed to him, but can they actually fix this thing is the big question, and it's going to take a lot. I've talked to a number of people who say they don't think that this thing is salvageable.
So, Mike, a lot of time has passed, a whole season of football. How do you feel like this has aged with hindsight, and is this Aaron's last hurrah in Green Bay, do you think?
Well, it didn't age too well because, he showed up at the start of training camp after all that stuff, and he aired all of those grievances. And so obviously they did something to convince him to come back. And now ever since then, anytime he's asked stuff, he expresses this kind of appreciation, has these warm feelings, and you kind of listen, you're like, well, maybe this isn't it. And, talking to people, and what do the experts, insiders know, really? But talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, they said, you know what? I don't think he's going anywhere. I think that he realizes, hey, maybe the grass isn't greener everywhere, and maybe this is the best shot, and he's probably going to stay put there. So we'll do another segment in a few months. We'll find out how well that one aged.
All right, our third hindsight soundbite comes from my conversation with Buffalo Bills legend Jim Kelly back in September. This is what he had to say when I asked him what the Bills need to do to win their first Super Bowl.
They have a lot in front of them. They're no longer the team that's, in the shadows. They're front and center now. Everybody knows in order to win, in order to move on in playoffs, in order to get to the playoffs, Buffalo Bills is a team they're going to have to reckon with. And now they're up there with the Kansas City Chiefs and a couple other ball clubs. So, Mackenzie, I looked at the season, I look what we did last year, and I just puts a smile on my face. But the key again, and I keep emphasizing this, is got to stay healthy. Got to keep those key players healthy and be able to make that big, big run that we all hope that they will do.
All right, so with hindsight, Mike, how has this Kelly clip aged? And is this their year? Josh Allen is healthy and playing some of the best ball that he's ever played.
Yeah, he named all the ingredients that he had to have, and so far we have seen it. There were questions about Josh Allen, but late in the year he rose to the occasion and got a really big win at New England to avenge that loss they had to the Patriots. It was kind of one of those must-have situations. We hadn't seen him come through in those type of situations, and he did. Then last week in the playoffs, it was clear he is a man on a mission, and he understands that, okay, this all rides on me. Yes, he's got great pieces around him, but he's giving them exactly what Jim Kelly was saying they need to get from him. And I don't know, is this their year? This will be a really big test this coming week against the Chiefs, but this is the best that Josh Allen has looked, so this is probably as good a chance that the Bills have had so far.
All right, Andy, how big is this Chiefs-Bills game in deciding who wins it all this year? Because it frankly feels a little bit like the Manning, Brady, Colts, Pats 2000s vibes.
I can't begin to explain how fired up I am for this game. I wrote this week on forthewin.com that this feels like it's the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl. I know the Super Bowl's in LA in a couple weeks, whatever, but the Bills and the Chiefs, to me right now, are the two best teams in football. I know Green Bay, we just talked about them. They've had a great year. But the way Josh Allen played against the Patriots, the way Mahomes and the Chiefs have played towards the second half of the season, they had the AFC Championship showdown last year. They get a rematch this Sunday night. It's going to be must-see TV. I can't wait to see it. I think the winner of this game represents the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Thank you guys so much for playing Hindsight. Up next, we've got Lions legend Barry Sanders joining the show. Hey sports fans, if you want to watch more sports seriously, be sure to check out these clips right here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all the great content from us here at USA Today Sports.